dudes, dudettes, and all those identifying elsewhere. This is This Week I'm Learning, the podcast where we bring you the most interesting things we've come across along the last week, either new, old, or most of the time relearned. This is episode 99, recorded October 12th, 2022, and I'm your host, Brandon Vader, also known as Captain Dracanis. Down below me, we have Colton Roper, also known as Seeker4761. And next to me, we have Psychonitrous, also known as Cody Stratman. Ooh.
Hello.
Tim, unfortunately, is not joining us this week. He is mitigating flooding around his house.
I hear it rains a lot in Thailand.
It depends on the season, and this is
Rainy
the season. The Thai word for the day is nam tuam, which means flood.
That's a fucking lot of nam tuam, is how the sentence goes.
It's pretty major, which is interesting because that area where Tim's in rarely gets rain. It's actually he usually jokes about it that he doesn't get rain, so it all came at once.
He got all the rain.
Yeah, even like Bangkok, like in front of my street, which is this picture right here. Isn't too bad. The day I got back into Bangkok from visiting Tim and my mom, it was pretty gnarly that day, but otherwise it hasn't been too bad. But yeah, rain there, so I can understand him needing to take care of pumping and all sorts of stuff.
I would say so. Makes perfect sense. I'm sure there's a dirty joke in there, but I'm not going to say it because I am mature.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to try at least. Ay.
So how have you guys been?
Not too bad. I've been enjoying hobbies, which is going to be a topic of mine tonight.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Hobbies.
I got a new thing that's coming in. Well, it was supposed to come in towards the end of the month, but now it's coming in apparently tomorrow. I'll talk a little bit about it on my section, but it doesn't actually have anything to do with my section. I'm just, excited. New toy.
Brandon's excited about a toy he's getting? Nah, never seen it.
What?
This is a 12 first in episode 99, boys.
It'll be awesome. Oh, that's close. We're close.
Well, very close.
We'll have to do something special for number 100 if we don't go on another hiatus for times.
Weeks.
I take a decent amount of the blame for that. I will accept that.
It happens. It's life. It's okay.
Yeah.
Our 7 fans were crying about it.
Anyway, Cody is going to be talking about, or I guess Cody is learning muscle memory. I mean, you already have muscle memory, but
muscles.
You didn't get
apparently
the
I lost
tappy,
it all. Yeah.
The tappy keyboard that like you slide on his rings and then you like tap.
Yeah, that sounds ridiculous.
Tippity taps?
Okay. No, I did not get that. But that's okay, because Colton is going to drone on for a bit, but not for long. Just a bit.
Just a
little bit.
A wee little bit.
Did you get a CNC router?
God damn, I wish I had the room for something like that.
I got a lathe.
Yeah, another expensive fucking hobby. But Brandon's he's talking about how it just ain't built like it used to be. Just ain't the same.
Nope. Things just don't last the way they used to.
Back in the old days. The old country.
Yep. But first, Cody, take us away. What muscle memory are you learning?
Well, I'll give you guys half of a guess each. So you guys get one guess between the two of you, since you probably know what I'm going to talk about.
Does it rhyme with Steamdeck?
It certainly
Oh!
yes, it does. So I have thoughts, opinions, now that I have received this glorious device. And yes, I'm using the words glorious device to describe it because that is what it is, because it is run on pure fucking magic. Is the only way that I can describe how this will run Ark Survival Evolved. I don't know how it does it, but there's little magicians inside of it that
That's
give it mana, and
actually
it
incredible. I honestly didn't know it could do. I mean, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, you're like,
it's not even listed as a it can possibly run it on because there's 4 levels of how well your Steam Deck can run games. There's the it definitely cannot run it, which is Arma 3, which Steam is nope. Then there's the
Is that because
Steam's,
of Battle Eye?
I'm not sure. To be honest, I didn't do much. I didn't do any research into that. I was just like, okay, I'm going to accept it for what it is. But apparently, some people have ways around things for stuff in this category. A matter of fact, somebody has run Star Citizen on the Steam Deck.
Now that
I don't know how. I'm
interesting.
I'm not going there yet. I am not going there yet.
Go there.
Does
if
Star
it
Citizen
involves
have a
installing
Linux?
Windows on it, I'm not doing it.
Fair enough.
If I'm not installing Windows on this yet.
Run Windows from an SD card.
Okay, that's a good idea.
There's no way in shit that would work for Star Citizen. Well, actually, maybe.
Yeah. The SD card, again, I bought an SD card. I have not yet installed anything on the SD card. Finding one of the recommended SD cards while I was in Hua Hin, I should have waited until I was in Bangkok. I don't know why I didn't Hua Hin.
Too excited.
Yeah, I was too excited.
What variant? What variant did you get?
This is the top of the line 512 gig special edge display thingy-mabobber.
With your special carrying case and your special keyboard cover thing or whatever?
I don't know what that is.
It's a virtual keyboard you could use on your Steam Deck, I think.
Oh. The keyboard, okay. So let me I didn't have my thoughts organized as I'm talking about this. So my thoughts. The keyboard is interesting. I have never used a keyboard like this before, because in order to use the keyboard, you could, try and, but as you can see, there's a problem with that because you're holding it like this and you cannot reach the center of the screen. So what you do is you use these two things, which work as I would actually say it works better than old laptop trackpads. They are far superior to a laptop trackpad, to then use virtual mice to touch each key. It works better than what you would think it does. However, I do have a minor complaint about it, is that it seems like the keyboard, one side will reach like 30% of the keyboard and the other side reaches 60% of the keyboard. So I don't know.
If it's not centered?
Thumbs. It's very hard to describe without showing somebody as it's happening. And I'm not willing to try and, although it's actually very fast to boot up, I'm not willing to go into it right now and try and film it backwards. That's just a nightmare trying to do right now. Sorry, internet. But yeah, I'm not doing that for you.
But it's the only Steam Deck video on the entire internet, Cody.
How will anybody know? Nobody else has one. I am the first. I doubt I'm even the first in Thailand because I saw these on Lazada. Now, on Lazada, they're about twice as much as what they are in the US for. So somebody is reselling them on Lazada. And I don't even know if it's this version. But I've already gotten comments about it. So my thoughts. Okay, the other thing before I get into like social thoughts and gaming thoughts about it is the turning it off and turning it back on. Like if you're playing a game and you're like, oh, I gotta do something, I gotta go into like off, not like the full power off, but the standby mode is fast, like instant fast, amazing. That implementation is nothing short than, again, magical wizards. And that's incredible. Now this is where it's my issue as being somebody for the last 20 years has used this as their primary game device. Going back to using a controller has been, let's say, trying for me, especially when each game has different implementations of the controls. Now, I will say the controls on this are very well thought out because you have these 4 buttons down here. Boop, these ones. Hello, microphone. Probably better if I keep talking into you rather than put the Steam Deck in between us.
No, we heard the clickies. It's tactile.
Okay. So yeah, you've got these 4 buttons, then you've got trigger buttons, and then you've got these bumper buttons above the trigger buttons. And then after that, you've got 2 different menu type buttons up here, and then you've got 4 buttons. This, which is also a button, and the other one, which is also a button too, and also the heads of these are tactile, meaning they have sense. So they know if your finger is resting on them or not. Then there's the Steam button, volume up, volume down, power button, the Steam button, which is like a shortcut button. So if you hold Steam and do some of the other buttons, you can do anything from screenshot to force exit a game to emulate an escape key, an enter key, a tab key, stuff like that. I have not really gotten into using that. Right now, I've been mostly playing games. Actually, to be frank with you guys, I've been mostly playing Terraria. And the control implementation on Terraria is fantastic. Like, because the bumper buttons will switch which item you're using. And then this one is jump. This one is use fire, whatever. This one in all games seems to be use fire, whatever. This is where I start getting into the beef of the device, and it's not really the device's fault, it's the control schemes. So Arc seems like it would be able to use I know it's not the same type of game as Terraria, but it seems like you could use a very similar control style because you've got a bar with multiple things on it, but they do things differently in Arc. And this is where building muscle memory is rather difficult. Hello, hander of gifts to Colton.
You're on the podcast.
Say hello. We cannot see you, but we know of your presence due to Colton's face expressions. So that the controls are awesome, but also interesting to get used to from the perspective of somebody who has used a mouse and keyboard for the last 20 years of gaming, and who's like, whenever I've been handed a controller, been like, no, if it's not a joystick. It's like I can't do this. Like, no. It's like a third arm, or I don't know a better analogy than that. Yeah, I know. You guys will be able to get into this faster than I can. I'm telling you already. The other thing that I've noticed, and this is my issue kind of with mobile gaming, is if you don't know how much time you have to game, what is the point of gaming? Because, okay, wow, the amazing gnomes that allow you to like turn the device on from standby and immediately be back in the game, or turn it off, is incredible. Again, I can be in Terraria, I can be like, oh, I gotta go do something. I press the power button, it goes to sleep. And then like maybe 10 minutes or a day later, I turn it back on and I'm back in the game. Like instantly. I can't state that enough. However, that part is instantly, but taking this out of my backpack, opening this, getting it out. This seems trivial. This seems like a trivial thing. But like when I actually gamed on this on the BTS as an example, I was like, okay. So one thing that Thailand has as an advantage is very cheap, very big data plans. Meaning I have unlimited data on my cell phone if I choose to use it at it's either 10 or 20 megabits per second, or I have 80 gigabytes at unlimited speed. So it means I can pretty much use Wi-Fi hotspot from my phone for this device wherever I go and be fine. But again, the whole social aspect of like, I'm standing on the BTS, I'm taking this out as I'm like, in here, taking this out, undoing it, taking the Steam Deck out, putting it back in, making sure my Bluetooth headphones are paired to the device. And again, this isn't a problem with Steam Deck. This is a problem with just using it like, they're like at the dentist, at the park, while you're swimming. Obviously some of those are jokes, but some of them, like, and maybe I need to get more used to it. Maybe this is kind of a muscle memory thing. But for me, it's the same issue. If I don't know precisely how much time I have to game, then it's difficult to get into gaming, because then I have to think, okay, if I'm riding the BTS and I'm gonna stop, at this station, if I'm gonna stop at a Sok, I need to be putting this thing away by the time I get to Nana. Or if I'm going to Prakanong, I need to be putting this away by the time I get to Ekamai. So I'm always like in the back of my head. Or if I'm at the doctor's office and I'm waiting on the so yesterday I had an appointment. I was at the clinic, and again, I didn't know precisely how much time I had to wait. I was just waiting. So I was playing for a little bit, and it actually was really cool because the nurse came in and they saw me like put it away, and they're like, "What is that?" And then they asked all sorts of questions about it. It's like, I haven't seen that before. Like, yeah, because it's not really in Thailand yet. And yeah, so I've already gotten comments on it. And again, the turn on, turn off function is awesome. It's just, and maybe this is something for me to overcome. This is maybe more of a commentary than a problem. Is the, like, maybe I need just to adapt to the muscle memory of putting this in my backpack, taking it out, opening it, blah, blah, blah.
So, I mean, out of curiosity, if you're at the BTS, why not have it out and ready to go while you're waiting for the BTS to arrive, and just walk
and then
on carrying it?
Yeah, and then as you leave,
carrying it,
and then find a spot and do it. Obviously, busy times you can't do that, but
yeah, and that's one of them. Is if the train is busy, I could probably make enough space because I have my giant backpack, and I hold when I'm on the BTS and it's busy, I hold the backpack in front of me, so I have that space like in front of me, like a chipmunk that's like has a horde of nuts, whatever. Yeah.
So in your case, it would almost be like, it would almost make more sense to have a. I've seen these out there. I'm not sure. I'd have to find a link for them, but it's basically a hard case that just goes on the front of the Steam Deck. It's like, it like snaps in. It's like 3D printed or something. It just obviously protects the screen and the joysticks, which obviously are the two most sensitive parts. You stick it in your backpack, you pull it right out, you pop that off, boom, you're ready to go. The case itself is the cumbersome part, it seems like.
Unzip. Yeah. Now the case is very well designed. It is a not hard case. It's a semi-hard case.
Hard
But
enough.
like, yeah, I.
That's what she said.
So, I really do like this. The Steam Deck. Let's talk about charging for a little bit too. So, and battery usage. Different games have dramatically different battery usage. Terraria, you can play for like 4 hours, no problem. But Terraria is Terraria. It's not known for its demanding performance. Other games, yeah, I didn't play Ark long enough to see because I was still trying to figure out how to run or not run in Ark. Again, me and controls on this thing we're going to have to find a way, and it's going to be I'm going to have to like focus on one game at a time. I did load into No Man's Sky yesterday.
That's actually what I'm excited to play on the Steam Deck, especially with their new update.
Yeah, again, it runs it fine. I'm used to playing with mouse and keyboard, so it's weird going to it and then relearning how No Man's Sky handles all the controls. It seemed better than the Arc implementation. What else have I tried to play on here? Crap, I forget. It's gonna be a lot of dead air if I try and think about that. But I've got like 20 games loaded on it right now. So yeah, just to test those out.
Like I said,
Terraria has been my baby at the moment.
I mean, Terraria is honestly like the perfect game for the mobile Steam Deck kind of play. Like games that aren't, for me, it would be like first person shooters. I have no interest in playing Halo on Steam Deck or anything like that. Anything twitchy, mostly because I'm the same like you, Cody. I don't have the muscle memory, and I was never very good with controllers anyways with FPSs. But like side-scrolling games, retro gaming, stuff like that.
Valheim. I could see Valheim being amazing. And Valheim has the highest. Okay, so I started in on this and I didn't finish it. The 4 levels of playability on the Steam Deck. So there's the like you can't. There's the we don't know. How compatible this is with Steam Deck. Then there's the it's mostly compatible, but there's something like 1 or 2 things you're going to have to kind of get around, but it shouldn't be hard to get around. And then there's the green check mark of happiness, which is this will run natively on the Steam Deck without any issues, and we certify that it will. Ark, No Man's Sky, Valheim, Terraria, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. I loaded that up for like 5 minutes to play that. There's in my Steam library of 400 games, there are 50 games that are green check mark of happiness. So yeah, to circle back to that. Yeah, but as you were saying with different games, you're right, Colton. The games that I'm looking forward to playing on this are not first-person shooters. I see that Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal are green check mark of happiness, but it's like that to me seems way too twitchy of a game to play on the Steam Deck. Maybe it's great on it, but
well, again, if you have only been a console gamer your whole life and you just
one other thing I want to mention is like the screen resolution is only 720p, but you don't really. Okay, so I game at 1440p. Going to 720 on the Steam Deck.
I also game at 1440. I'm joking.
Yeah. I think that's probably the norm now. I don't think that's anything fucking special. Like, most people are like, I game at mega resolution, super widescreen plus. Look at me and my top hat. No, but going from 1440p to the Steam Deck isn't problematic at all. Again, I'm playing Terraria mostly right now. So, you know, but the other games that I've tried, there hasn't been, like when I was doing No Man's Sky or Squadrons or even Ark, like it didn't really, there wasn't a like, oh, this looks like a downgrade in resolution. There wasn't that feeling. And there wasn't like, oh, this is a downgrade in FPS. Again, I didn't feel that. I was just like, wow, this is cool, and maybe as I play it, 6 months down the line, maybe that. So let me kind of round up my feelings and thoughts on this. What I see my main use cases for this is well, since I got a new visa, I'll be going to immigration a lot less. Otherwise, I would say I would use this on the road to, or the ride to immigration, which is about an hour long. But I foresee using this, like if I'm going to be flying anywhere, I'm absolutely going to be using this. If I'm going to be in a taxi for 30 minutes or longer, I'm going to be using this, which in Bangkok can absolutely happen. If I'm going to meet friends, I am probably not going to bring this. Because it means that I'm going to have to bring a backpack. Any time that I would normally bring a backpack somewhere, I'll bring this. But if I'm not going to bring my backpack somewhere, I'm not going to bring this. I am going to bring this absolutely in place of my laptop. Sorry, I've been talking a while on this, and I didn't think about that. But like if I go on a short trip somewhere, rather than bringing my gaming laptop, I will bring this instead. And I'm sure that there's going to be a game or two that I'm going to miss out on, that like Arma 3, for instance, with the mods and stuff.
I don't. Go on.
Have you tried MechWarrior 5 on it yet?
I have not.
I bet with the controls that could be really good.
I was gonna say that's gonna be really fucking fun. Get that Epic Games. Get that Epic Games launchers thing I sent you.
I don't. I will get it, but my MechWarrior 5 is also on Steam.
I know, but I was thinking.
Yeah.
All those free games that Epic has been trying to bribe us to use their platform.
Especially since those free games are like a lot of platformers, stuff like that. I see this as eventually, when I figure out emulators and stuff like that, this being amazing for that. But again, when I'm going to be playing the games is if I'm waiting for somebody but only have 5 minutes, I don't necessarily see me pulling this out rather than browsing Facebook, just because of and maybe as I use it more, I might be more willing to unzip, do that, take it out. I am babying it at the moment because I know that if I drop it, break it, that there is no place near me that can replace it. That I could probably take it to a shop somewhere and maybe have somebody solder it, but that warranty, bye-bye. So that's a concern of mine, is screen breakage. I really do need to get a screen protector for it somewhere. That's going to be a special order from someplace in order to get that, because I know that I've read that it's very finicky on which screen protector you use, and being able to use the touchscreen. To be honest, many times I forget that it has a touchscreen because of all the other controls being good, really good in the combination of whichever ones you want to use, that you don't need to use the touchscreen. Okay, one last thing that I want to talk about with controls, now that I just thought of it before I pass this off and my segment goes way too long, is that some games use this as the confirmation button, which is A, and some games use X as the confirmation button. I'm looking at you, Star Wars Squadrons. Why when most of them use A, are you using X? Why?
Can you change it?
I was gonna say, just change it.
Probably.
Also,
Probably I
it
can
also
change it,
depends
but-
on if the game was optimized for PlayStation or optimized for Xbox. There's other factors.
Just be glad there's
okay.
none that you've run across that are optimized for Switch, because that uses where the B is as the A.
It's all over the place.
And
And
it's
B-
really shitty going
because
from
B is
Xbox
usually
on
back.
my PC to playing Switch and constantly like exiting out of menus accidentally.
Yeah, because B is pretty universally like
Back.
even Star Wars Squadrons is to revert to the previous menu or previous whatever. So yeah, that I guess a lot of what I'm talking about for like people who use console controls is going to be like, well, of course, like duh. But as somebody who hasn't done that for 20 years, last time was really a Nintendo 64 controller. And I know how console people feel about that controller.
Best ever made.
Like,
I know.
again, from the days of GoldenEye 64, Duke Nukem, going, to mouse and keyboard, and then going back to a controller, it's weird, especially like using dual stick. So I was actually trying to teach somebody else how to use this and play Terraria on it, and because mobile gaming is very popular here, so teaching them how to use the control was interesting, and again, as challenging as learning it for myself. So again, I think the learning curve is way higher for somebody who hasn't used a controller in a long time than for somebody who has used a controller. So that's interesting. Anyway, I think that's all of my main points that I wanted to cover for right now without taking the entire segment, the entire episode. Just
We want to thank you guys for listening to TWIL.
Cody talks about Steamdeck. Yeah, welcome. But I believe Colton would like to drone on for a bit.
Yeah,
unless anybody has comments or anything before we move.
I can't wait until I can get mine. That's all I'm fucking excited. One of my buddies got one recently and is playing in it like Final Fantasy online with it, and I'm like, that's actually a really good experience. It's a really good fucking experience. Like that, I might even play that game in my spare time instead of just on streaming days. But
yeah, typing is better than you would expect. It is, and I could see you developing the muscle memory for typing using their interesting method for it. Yeah. If you're good at mobile typing, you could easily become good at typing using their interesting keyboard method.
Super cool.
So, yeah. Please, Colton, drone on.
Well, since we're doing hobbies and stuff, Cody, I know you are very familiar with this particular hobby because I remember there was like 9 episodes in a row you talked about it.
Drones. Nice.
It's a drone. I've actually had it for a little bit, but I've decided to make this my life for the past like 2 weeks or so. And
the Mavic.
Yeah. This is a DJI Mavic Air 2. It's not bad, honestly. I love it. It's the Apple of freaking droning. So it's super user friendly. I cannot crash it. It's got cameras all over the place to prevent it from crashing unless you want to turn that off. Super easy to fly. It's really a great product with some caveats. Camera's amazing. 4K 30, I think it's at 4K 30 FPS. Takes amazing pictures. Super cool shit. Bunch of like, what do you call it? Like panoramic views, spherical views, stuff like that. Very cool pictures, and maybe I'll post some here. But for some weird reason, this model in particular, DJI just fucking hates this model because every other model has its own little controller, which is cool, makes sense. And you can use that controller, but you can use that controller and connect it to, say, the DJI flight simulator and use it and connect it, and it works great. But for some fucking stupid reason, the controller for this particular model does not work. Cannot connect it to a computer at all. Don't know why.
So
Cannot do
the
it.
controller that you have, is it a built-in controller, or is it one where you use the phone as your screen?
You have to use the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
so
not the it's not like the smart controller.
The top pops out. And
Yeah.
Then, okay, so I've got a very similar controller for you, as you using the Mini 2 is, I think, the one that I have.
Yeah, and the Mini 2 works on the fucking DJI, and you could connect it to, say, the Drone Racing League game that just was relatively...
Wait, so the Air, which is a higher tier model than the Mini, because the Mini is like the base small model, does
not.
Okay,
and
DJI
here's part 2 of that. The DJI Mavic Air 1 controller does work on it, but the 2 does not.
Okay,
I don't know.
I will explain a beef that I have with DJI. Sorry to
there's
a segment of your segment.
It's gonna be a super short segment because I'm playing it by ear.
This phone, and actually I gotta check it because I haven't flown my drone in probably 6 months. But this phone, the Xperia 1.3, whatever, it's the top, well, not the top of the line because I got the Pro model with the ridiculous camera, but a flagship level phone does not work with, or did not work. I have to try this and correct it. See potential correction in the comments later. With my Mini 2, but my old Razer phone did, and it has something to do with the charge detection on this model of phone, and like the input required to keep the phone alive, like the certain
it doesn't do not data transfer, but there's some I've seen that
delivery. It's like the low power requirement or something like that. It wouldn't work with it, but it was something that was capable of being fixed software wise.
Developer mode or something.
There was a ton of people complaining about it on the DJI forums, and DJI was pretty much like, nope, get another phone. So I would have to carry around one of my other phones in order to use it.
I think DJI has bigger issues because I think the Pentagon has like blacklisted DJI for certain products in the United States for purchasing.
Is that for? I want to make sure that this is clarified. Is
certain products? I'm saying there
certain products for the military to buy, or certain products for any civilian in the United States to buy. There's a difference between government buying it, or any or saying like, nope, civilians in the United States cannot buy this.
Well, I think they're fighting it, but I want to say you could still buy. Obviously, go to Walmart. You can go get the Mini or whatever it's at, or the new FPV drone, the Amada Moto, whatever the fuck it's called, which also looks amazing. But I need to look this up, and I probably should have, honestly, for this. But it's a big deal. I mean, DJI is fighting it pretty hard, and I don't think it's government. I want to say it's one of those things of the government, because the United States is accusing DJI providing like military products to China, I believe, because it is a Chinese company, and I think
which means somebody from the CCP has to sit on the board of the company.
So it's a whole freaking thing. Company. And apparently this has actually been happening for 4 years. It's just like recently in the last month or so there was a big whole hullabaloo about it, but doesn't matter. I got mine. I'm enjoying it. Super fun, super cool to get different shots. Makes the city of Tucson really cool to get shots from, like seeing how every roof here is covered in white because it's hot as balls here. Going for my, what is it, the flight or part 107
Oh, nice.
Because I want,
So you
because
can
I actually,
do
yeah, I actually have a couple of clients.
money.
Yeah, exactly. Not clients, well, clients for my main IT job actually want to do some possible drone footage, and I'm like, okay, I'll get paid to play with a toy and go with that. So that's part of the saga of all of this is getting the official license and everything, and looks super easy. It's $150 US, so it's not the cheapest, but you get 2 years, lasts for 2 years, super easy to learn. The FAA provides all the information, so I highly recommend going for it if you're going to do it. It's registered with the government. It's got its own little ID and everything. It got the app where you actually, at least here in, maybe it's everywhere, but where you actually request flight time and you get a certain area you're allowed to fly in. Because Tucson is like the very center of the city. Is full of like the airport and a bunch of medical stuff and the military base and everything. So you have to request flight time, and it's super cool. Super annoying, but also super cool. So
yeah,
kind of what I've been into. I don't think I've ever actually done a hobby thing on this particular show. So it only took 99 episodes to find something that I'm actually interested in, and it's tied into the 3D printing thing because I do want to eventually do what Cody did and build my own from scratch, do the full FPV thing, and I'm gonna print it. I know it's not the best thing to do, but I'm gonna print it anyways. I don't care.
I'm honestly, as much concern I have over you guys not necessarily using carbon fiber, I'm interested. I'm curious to see like what if the difference is minimal or not minimal, or if it's one of those things where it's just like if you don't hit anything, then you're fine.
I'll say just get good
if that's the case. But part of getting good
is crashing, yeah. And like
which
I said,
is very different than flying a real plane.
It's true. You gotta get good right away. But yeah.
FPVing it absolutely have to crash.
Oh yeah, I highly recommend a simulator to learn just the. It's kind of weird with
before you touch it.
Fucking put your flight time in a simulator, even if it's not very good. Just to get the muscle memory going. To what Cody said about, because for some reason, well, not some reason, the controls for the obviously for the drone is different than what it would be in a flying a plane in a video game or flying a helicopter. So it's all I am having to kind of relearn what each thumb will do in certain situations, because when you get into those kind of hairy situations with the drone, you just got to react. You better hope you make the right decision, because they go pretty fast. Even this one can go like 18 to 20 meters per second. Not per second. I can't remember what it was, but super fast. Super cool.
Yeah,
love it.
And flying one of the DJI Mavics is very different than flying an FPV.
Oh yeah,
get to the FPV.
I mean, it's got angle limiters.
Well,
it's got stabilization. I flew yours for a couple minutes. I'm like, this is very terrifying. Whereas that one, I would have to try to actually crash it. Like, it doesn't even let you land quickly. It'll stop like a meter off the ground. It's like, okay, here we go. You're fine. You're fine. You're not gonna break it.
Do you really want to land?
Are you sure you want to land? Okay. All right. You're done now. But honestly, I love it. I despise the fact that my hobbies are stupid expensive. If you count video games, drones, I want to get into fucking 3D printing. Not enough money in the world. Not enough time in the day.
Yep.
But tell us what ain't built, Brandon, like it used to be. What's changed? What was it like in the bad old days or good old days?
Data storage.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple weeks back, I was house sitting and dog sitting at my folks' place. And my mom pulls out this tray of camera cards, ranging back from compact flash to XD, SD, Sony's proprietary cyber stick or whatever the heck that crap was called. And was like, hey, so I can't find any of the pictures that would have been on these because they're marked with years. She's like, so I don't know where those are at. Can you go ahead and pull off pictures from these? Well, interesting thing. Flash storage is not really meant for long-term storage well unpowered. You end up getting data rot, bit rot. I was able to salvage most of them, but that kind of led me down a rabbit hole of, well, what medium do I use to store these for long term? And there's a archival DVD, CD, DVD, Blu-ray.
See, I was gonna guess iOmega zip drives.
Oh God, no! Those weren't fucking reliable when they were new. Ugh. No. So at the consumer level, one of the easiest things to do would be to get a archival Blu-ray disc. So then you can store, I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. I think 32 gigs per disc, something like that. They have higher capacities, but you have to start getting into specialized hardware. And the problem is, you also have to think about right now, do modern laptops have Blu-ray players?
No.
Do they have CD or DVD or ROMs, period? No. You can get a fairly cheap CD, DVD burner that's USB that will work for the next little bit, but really, even at a certain point, I'm going to have to continue these on in perpetuity, transfer them to a new medium, transfer them to a new source at some point. And then you have to start thinking about the file formats themselves. JPEG, probably okay for a while. Some random proprietary Sony raw data format from the early 90s, not so much.
To be fair to Sony, usually their file formats, usually they're as much as I loathe proprietary stuff, usually Sony's are pretty decent. Like usually there's a reason why. But still proprietary is evil. Yeah.
Yep. And who's to say that 30, 40 years from now, all of a sudden I can't open up those proprietary
You're gonna
files.
have to contact the old Sony engineer that is retired in a prefecture in Japan.
Sure, that'll work wonderfully. But it also kind of led me on to what is the longest we've ever stored data? Take a guess.
And we're talking like modern versions of data, right? Not like, oh, it's a book from 6,000 years ago, or.
Nope, that's a good. That is still technically data.
Well, then I would say like a stone tablet from like Egypt. I think Egypt or maybe not Macedonia. God dang it! Wherever Iraq. What was that? What was that city? Was it it's Iraq?
Samaria.
Yeah, but way back in that area. Like the first stone tablet was like a guy bitching about, at least the oldest one we know is like of a guy bitching about a price of grain or something as a complaint.
Yes.
Was that right?
Really?
Hell yeah.
100% correct. So roughly, let's see, small clay tokens were used roughly 9,000 BCE, and the start of the historic period around 3,000 BCE is when use of writing was recorded or widely adopted. So we have surprisingly good records from Samaria because they used clay tablets. But the periods after that, they start,
papyrus
people were like,
paper.
Hey, papyrus paper. That data format, that data storage degraded a lot worse. And so we have a lot of records from Samaria, but not like early Egypt.
Huh. I mean, I guess that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. And as we're developing hard drives that require complex gases in order to fit, wait for. Oh God, this is bad.
I would
Well,
argue.
I was trying to look because there was. Go ahead, Colton.
No, go ahead.
I remember covering early on in the podcast Microsoft using Glass to store movies for, I think it was Disney or Warner Brothers, one of those two. But like going back through and like pulling data off of their old films and converting it, and then using basically a glass cube to store it, and how that's going to be readable for thousands and thousands of years. But there's no consumer option for anything like that. There's not even like a, hey, if I send you, 100 gigabytes of stuff, can you put it onto one of these? It's just not an option right now. So from a consumer level, magnetic tapes last a while too, but the issue there is it's still,
put a magnet over it.
There is tape and there is
you gotta put them in a climate controlled room. They'll last forever in a climate controlled room, but you got to keep them in a climate controlled room, and most people do not have true climate controlled vaults for their magnetic tape backups.
Their sweet data.
Yeah, in the borough we used to do so we would store them like 3 different places, and one of the places where we stored them for the longest term actually was in a sealed vault.
Oh wow.
That we had to go into that had a very different smell than all the other rooms. So they'll. But even then, we had data rotation and stuff for the, and basically tape expiration built into the software that we used. Was it ComVault? Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is there's a lot of people online that were saying, oh, just put it in the cloud. No. But the problem is like, if you don't own that cloud, you don't own your data that's there. And Google can decide, hey, your account has broken terms of service for random reason.
There's no guarantee that Google or Microsoft, whatever, may not even last. I mean,
this is the same argument that the crypto people in the crypto space use about your keys and your crypto, storing your crypto on an exchange versus having it on a hardware wallet. Is same argument with the cloud, and same argument with data, because in essence it's the same thing.
It's a good additional storage location, but it's not.
Should not be primary
only.
What do you guys?
That's all.
I was gonna ask, what do you guys think is the oldest, like, modern version of data storage? If that makes sense, with like computers and like a more modern sense of that. Now that I'm thinking about it,
punch cards.
Damn it! Yeah, I was gonna say punch cards too, because I couldn't think of anything older than that in terms of. Yeah, it's always punch cards would be easily the oldest, and being paper, they're not gonna last super long in the long term either. They'll last longer. Well, no, do you think?
It depends on how they get. Again, it's all about storage.
But they're not necessarily. Yeah, but they're not. If you have a hard drive, a magnetic. Let's say you have a magnetic tape drive. You have a regular hard drive, an SSD, and a punch card, all stored in the ideal environments. I think the punch card would actually last longest.
Ideal environments, yes.
Yeah, all other things being equal, ideal environments. Just because of data rot and just basic shit like that. That just happens from fucking. I mean, rays from space and stuff.
Let's add the natural disaster, effect to all of this, and then you're just screwed.
Well, yeah, they're all going to die.
What's interesting, I'm going off on a weird tangent here, but a lot of the crypto stuff, there's actually this thing called that people use, because the important thing for your crypto is actually the 24-word seed phrase that you have for it. And there's this product that you can buy that's called a crypto steel capsule. And what that does is it's physical metal plates that are stainless steel, and you put them in a tube and you put them in order. So you have those 24 words in order in this stainless steel tube, because it is, as of right now, the most effective form of loss. If there's a fire, if there's a flood, you still have that.
That's true.
So this is where it's interesting that the data storage crosses over to the crypto space too. Yeah. But no, that's interesting. The glass cube thing is interesting too. So maybe as the world realizes this, maybe we will have, holographic glass cube readers and lasers.
Or
But
isolinear
we'll see.
chips from Star Trek.
I don't know what those are.
Oh.
I know. I lost most of my cred right there. But
well, anyway, that's it for data. As far as the fun toy that I'm getting, it has been called one of the best companions to the Steam Deck. And so I'm a little bit jealous of not having gotten a Steam Deck now. It is.
Are you getting one? I have it on my phone, as something that I would really love to buy. One second, let me see if I can. Oh my God! If this is what you're getting, I'm super excited.
Jesus,
you didn't expect this reaction from me, did you?
Is it a D-brand skin?
Nreal Air. Is it an Nreal Air?
I have Nreal Air showing up tomorrow.
What the fuck is Nreal Air?
Augmented reality glasses. They basically look
hell yeah,
kind of like that generic Ray-Ban style. And they only sit a little further off your face than a normal pair does.
Oh, those are the ones that upgrade the screen, but do it through processing on the glasses themselves?
Nope.
Or am I thinking of something? Okay, sorry.
It's the same as the screen, but
they basically shoot down, and then there's a little prism right in front of your eye, but you can fully see through the prism. But it basically creates a 210-inch display. I think 9 feet away is what they're saying. So, yeah. And then if you have a Android smartphone, there's a whole bunch of AR features that you can do. Like you can, use your phone as a controller and throw apps up in space and have multiple things going on around you. It's only 3 degrees of freedom, not 6 degrees of freedom.
But still, that's enough.
Plenty. The other thing is it doesn't work with iPhone. That AR.
Brandon, no.
Oh my God! No. Here we go again.
No, I'm not. I have enough phones hanging around that either I can resurrect one of those to play with AR, or I can be patient for the AR app to come to Windows.
So does it?
If you really want to, I'll buy the Nreal Airs off of you if you can get them here.
No.
So that's okay. So they are AR based. They're not like a VR situation.
Correct. Yep. So you can see through the image. It is going to include.
I think they've got blackouts. Yeah.
Yep. But what a lot of people are saying about them online so far is that basically the big draw with them right now is to plug them into your Switch and have a much bigger feeling screen to play your games on that is also more
private.
It's more private.
And you don't have to hold something up.
You don't have to hold something up.
I gotta Google this. How have I not heard of these fucking
There's
things?
a video on it because I remember I was riding in a car somewhere and I was looking at accessories that I should get for the Steam Deck, and this guy went through like 5 different glasses like this, and he was like, "No, I'm real air."
Are you
So
sure
the reason
the
for
AR
this
doesn't
is
work? Sorry, real quick. Are you sure this thing doesn't work with the iPhone?
So you can use a Nreal adapter, which I already have here, with a Lightning to HDMI, and you can get video off of your iPhone, but you cannot do the actual
stuff.
AR.
Okay.
Now they have an AR app for M1 and M2 equipped Macs, which makes me think that they're going to eventually put that on Windows. There's no reason why they couldn't put something like that on Windows, because on the Mac, all it does is it basically sets up 3 screens for you to be able to look at. And that's really all I want. Like, if I'm going to hook it up to my computer and I'm not going to be gaming, what I want is that productivity. And
so I'm guessing
the funny thing is what made me start wanting to look into something like this was my parents are going to start leaving their dog when they go to Denver. She's just not traveling very well, which means once a month I'm hanging out at my parents' house for 2 nights and 2.5 days. And rather than lugging up my laptop and 2 monitors and a keyboard and mouse and docking station, like, would just make sense to be able to plug my glasses into my laptop, use the keyboard on the laptop and a mouse, and have the 3 screens that I'm kind of used to being able to look at and throw stuff on for work.
So I'm guessing, so I'm guessing the Steam Deck is the same. It'd be the same situation. It just makes the screen bigger. I guess why would you have an AR thing?
It's static. So like you move your head, the screen moves with you.
Oh.
Yeah, and the reason why this is so cool is the guy who was explaining the video that I watched said that 2 different reasons is why he really wanted something like this. Number 1, and it's true, and I forgot to cover this, is after you've been gaming for a while, you get like gamer slouch, and you stop holding it like this, and you start, it gets lower and
drifting,
lower and lower and lower until you're like this, and until your head, you're like, Ugh.
I've noticed that with my Switch.
Where if you're doing this with glasses, you can be gaming with it down here.
You're literally comfortable position, and
yeah.
Yep.
And the other thing is less so, but you know, I care about this less, but other people care about it, is screen privacy. Yeah. Where if you have the glasses, it is perfect screen privacy. You don't have somebody, you know, curious like, oh, and I have to admit, I am one of those people that a lot of times I cannot help looking at, like, because I'm just a curious person, what other people are like, you know, it's not even malicious. It's just like, huh, what's that? What's that? So I understand people feeling the want for privacy on those devices too.
Well, and to be clear, you can see, I mean, just kind of like you can see the reflection of my monitor in my regular glasses, you'll have a much more vivid
but somebody's going to be like,
but yeah, somebody could pick up the broad strokes. Like I wouldn't suggest, you know,
what you got there, buddy?
Things.
What you got in your eyes?
I would not suggest watching certain things.
You could have the black.
Unless you have the
cowards never prosper. I mean, looking at they actually look normal-ish. Like they don't look like trash. They look like Ray-Bans.
Here's the other thing: they include the prescription frame. So all you have to do is go to a lens cutter, say, "Here's my prescription. Please fit lenses to this."
Why have I not fucking heard of this?
Because it's only been in the US for 9 days.
Yeah, I heard about it was like 2 months ago that I was no, it was longer than that. Oh, this was yeah. When I was going somewhere. I was in the back of a taxi and yeah, I was going to Kochang and I was like trying to find videos on the Steam Deck and accessories for it. And this guy was emphatic about it and he tested like 5 or 7 different like versions of this, and the Unreal Air is not the most expensive, but it is the best. It is by far not the most expensive, but
it's also not the cheapest either.
It's not the cheapest.
There are cheaper options out there for just a static display, but having that ability to maybe down the road use that accelerator in it to have some
and
sort of
the Steam
3 degrees
the
of freedom.
Steam Deck, and I forgot to mention this on the Steam Deck. So it does have movement based control too. It's just the only game that I've seen that takes advantage of it is the like the Valve Desk Job, which is basically a tutorial how to use the Steam Deck. So I could see that integrated with the glasses in a perfect world.
Like that?
Yeah.
So do you plug them into devices? Is it Bluetooth?
Yep.
Is it
USB-C?
Yeah, so you still have like a wire.
You have a
you
single
could do it
wire
under your shirt or something,
running from the back left arm, and it's USB-C on the glasses themselves. So if you lose the cable or it gets damaged or whatever, you can replace it with another USB-C cable, so long as it's a cable rated to carry DisplayPort signal. And then that goes down and it's a USB-C on the other end. So you can plug it directly into your phones, laptops, stuff that are able to output a DisplayPort alt signal. Or if you can't, you get one of the little adapters, and then that goes into here, and then you plug HDMI from any source into the other side of this.
Yeah, super cool.
And it uses the power of your phone to run the glasses. So there's no battery on the glasses.
It's purely a display.
Super light, purely a display with an accelerometer.
That's probably why they look so normal.
Yep.
Yeah. Super cool. Brandon and
Brilliant.
I need to combine our powers now. Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome. Now I might try and see if I can get, now that it's actually available in the US. I don't know actually which store I would, because it's available in Japan.
Get it from Japan. It ships quicker and it's cheaper. I got a little bit of a deal on mine, but it should.
Oh shit! I'm seeing like Korea was freaking packaging it with the freaking Note 20 or whatever it is. Like as for the phone, just comes with these damn AR glasses. Fuck, that's really cool. Damn it, they have all the cool stuff. Glad it's finally here.
Right. Yeah, I was actually first trying to find their first set of glasses, the Unreal Lights, because that includes cameras that would then give you 6 degrees of freedom. So you could actually set, screens up to be on a wall in your room, walk into the living room, and have your screens that are set up there, kind of like the HoloLens.
Yeah, but honestly, having the 3 degrees of freedom, because you've got the sideways, you've got up and down.
Yep.
And then what's the other one that it would have? Not this.
Left and right, up and down, and then.
Oh, really? Roll.
Roll
makes the least amount of sense to me. Maybe
it's to keep
lateral movement would make the most sense. But
I think it's roll, because I think that's how the 3DOF sensors work.
Oh, yeah, I guess that. the accelerometer would be able to detect roll better than it would be able to detect this.
Yeah,
Okay.
that lateral movement, you would have to have cameras that would then track your surroundings.
Yeah, you're right.
But I figured this is honestly like the first set of AR glasses, even though the AR is much less robust than something like a HoloLens or a Magic Leap. It is still there. You can still use it to some extent. It's
And this is
getting there, and it will get there. It will get better with software, and it's kind of a first step for the consumer market.
And the big
yeah,
thing
I
is that
think
it's
this
not
is what the
dorky
Google
looking.
Glass.
Like that's a
Yeah.
Yes.
big, but like they look like normal sunglasses. You would never know the fucking difference unless you
Yep.
were looking right up
Yeah.
there, really like, stop watching that.
And-
This is a school zone, sir.
Yeah, and
I
it
am
doesn't
so
have the
excited for
camera
it.
in it, so it actually benefits from not having
Exactly.
a camera, because then you don't have. Remember when Google Glass like not first came out, but the news of it became mainstream, and then like everywhere from
Everybody
bars
flipped.
to everything was like, no, not in here, you're not.
Yep.
And understandably, like, you know,
Oh,
like in some ways I kind of wish the world was still that privacy conscious.
Yeah, but now we
That-
have.
yeah, we do have these, but if I'm doing this, you
it's a lot
notice
more
this,
noticeable than a little
versus
lens
if
here.
I'm just looking around, you know, going blah blah blah. It's, you know, it's natural versus unnatural. Again, even, you know, with this, if you're looking around and if I'm walking like this, you know that I'm not filming. Okay, if I'm doing this and walking around, if I'm doing this and walking around, you know that I'm filming.
Fair enough.
Or
That you're FaceTiming.
especially if I'm doing
You're more
this
you're
and
more
walking
conscious.
around,
You're
you
more
know.
conscious of what the hell's going on. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But
Cool. I look forward to the Tech Pirate article.
yes, that I will write on the glasses.
That would be actually pretty fucking cool.
Right on it.
Fun.
All right. Yeah. So that's
That an
that.
episode?
I think so. Colton, where
Yeah,
can
I
we find
think
you?
it has been.
It's been an episode. The name is Colton Roper. I go by Seeker4761 on all the social medias. Stream pretty consistently at Seeker, twitch.tv/Seeker4761. Streaming a lot of Final Fantasy online. A little bit of Fallout 76. Yep, it's kind of been my life there. Also a contributor to the techpirate.net. And you know who has contributed one article to the techpirate.net? Our good friend Cody Stratman. Tell us about you. Where you at?
Hello, my name is Cody Stratman. I like the color blue and green. I am currently in beautiful, floody, actually not so floody today, Bangkok, Thailand. You can find me on the Instagram as Zito Valder. You can also find me one time on the techpirate.net, but I have the thing is like the Steamdeck has been done over and over, but maybe like the perspective of somebody who doesn't use
I haven't seen it
controller
from
might be unique.
from a
I
non-controller
mean,
user. I mean, I'm sure it's out there,
yeah.
but
Well,
content.
we'll see. I'll think. I'll think about it. Yeah, because I don't want to rehash work other people do. Yeah, that's where you can find me. I really need to figure out the twitching stuff, but I want to get a better setup for being able to stream before I really twitch. Anyway, I'm explaining too much. Brandon, go away with me. You
Away with you.
stuff.
Yeah, I am Brandon Vader, also known as Dracanis Vader, or Captain Dracanis. Sorry. I've been playing Elder Scrolls, or not Elder Scrolls,
Elden Ring?
A little bit, and yeah.
which is
because
also
that's a RP.
a Steamdeck green
That game
too.
is a game I would fucking love on the Steam.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay. Sidebar.
Save it for the end.
Save it for the end. Good call. Good call. Anyway, Brandon Vader, also known as Captain Dracanis, also known as Captain's Bed, which I promise I will eventually get that stream back up and running at some point when I'm not, running around with my hair on fire. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram as Captain Dracanis. I think that's where I'll leave it for now. And the Tech Pirate, watch there for an upcoming, hopefully couple articles at least about the Enreal Air, because there's going to be unboxing first thoughts. I need to figure out how to get the prescription for it and kind of how that actually works. So there will be a little write-up about that, and then of course like a full-on review and what I think about him after some time with him. But I am super excited. So thanks for joining us on this episode of This Week I'm Learning. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts, as well as on YouTube at This Week I'm Learning. For your social media peeps out there, you can find us on Twitter at This TWIL. If you'd like to contact us, you can of course send an email to twil@thetechpirate.net. We will see you all next week for episode 100.
100! Yay, bye!
3 digits!
Triple digits! Okay, I have tried 4 or 5 different times to get into Elden Ring, and I just keep getting slaughtered. Like I have never felt just so hopeless about a game, and what I just found out is still technically the goddamn tutorial zone.
You haven't gotten out of the cave yet?
Oh no, I got out of the cave.
Okay, good. But you're right next to the cave, I'm assuming. You're still in that first area there?
So just past there, I found the first waypoint, and then I found the second waypoint, and that's kind of where that little town is at.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna raid this little town, and I just get my ass fucking stomped every time, and I've never made it past that. And like, never have gotten the storm or what is that, terror? The spirit horse that you ride. I've never gotten the companion that lets you fucking level up. I've never been able to level up before.
It's a hard game.
And I got really frustrated because then, like on top of that, I'm sitting there trying to go through the gates, which is where they're telling me to go, trying to go through the gates, and I'm getting my ass stomped. And I'm like, how the hell is this? Oh God, am I just supposed to run through this and ignore the giant guy until I'm a higher level? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Oh, hey, look, that's what I'm supposed to do. And then I get through there, and then I totally forget about just like finding a way around it. And so it's, trying to go up the road to the castle, and I'm like, this is bullshit. I can't beat these guys. There's too many of them, and there's archers, and I have nothing that I can shoot at them. And then I'm like, oh, hey, I wonder what's around the other side of the castle. Oh, look, you can follow this cave wall or this like cut wall, and there's only a handful of like wolf packs.